There we go. Now let's get into the show tonight with our first guest. Very excited to have her on the program. She is an actor and writer who's done a number of things in Canada. You might recognize her from Letterkenny, This Hour is 22 Minutes, or The Communist Daughter. I really enjoyed that one as well. But she's on tonight to talk about a short film that is coming soon to YouTube that talks about brain injuries. Welcome to the program, Nadine Bhabha.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm fabulous. Cold, but happy to be here.
Yes, yes. As we are all cold right
Yeah.
now. It is a time of cold. What I'm shocked is that we're never prepared. It's
Right?
like it comes every year, but we think, oh, maybe it's not going to happen this time.
No, this is the thing. I dread it. As soon as it gets like a little cold, like I have to put a coat on, I'm like, well, that's it. And then for me, I'm just like cold for 4 months and then I always just leave.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have to go somewhere else because also gray. Anyway, who cares about the weather?
Well, it's funny because the weather affects people in such horrible ways, and it makes me think about the short itself, right? Because you never know the things that people are going through.
It's true. It's true. And it's also, it's medium talk at this point because of the way the world is. And the weather is not, innocuous right now. And yes, don't know what people are going through. And I think I don't know what the exact stat is, but it's like we've had 30 hours of sun in the last like 2 weeks or something, which is like not that many hours.
Yeah, it's a very small amount. Yeah. God,
Not good.
now I'm more depressed. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Feel great. Yeah. Well, we got an email in from James C that says, "Hey geeks, something to keep me warm. Forget the merch. Nadine's voice." There we go. That's a nice. There you go. There you go. Oh man. So for people who haven't heard about the film Chronic, tell the good folks what it's all about.
Yeah, so it's written about a woman who has undergone a concussion, and this is post-concussion. It's sort of, the recovery of that, but also trying to adjust back to life and trying to feel normal while still maintaining a level of recovery and brain health that strikes a balance. And in the film, she goes to her friend's birthday, but the friends, we'll call them, are not very accommodating or understanding of the circumstances, and she ends up sort of just like trying to fit in and trying to feel like her old self, but unfortunately she's in a new normal and she ends up hurting herself even further. And finally just accepting the fact that she needs to take some time to fully, figure out how to recover. And so she ends up joining a help group for that, a support group.
Yeah.
It always strikes me as amazing about about what this short is talking about, is the fact that there's so many things that so many people go through on a day-to-day basis, a lot of which we can't see.
Yeah.
It's really simple. When you see somebody with a broken leg, you can see, oh, they've got a broken leg. They're dealing with some stuff.
Yeah.
But if you have a concussion, although character does wear a neck brace and, the worst part about a concussion that I have, because I had a concussion. Actually, Andrew was with me when I got it. And
I gave him the concussion.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I was
here.
speaking too loudly and he didn't I was just
No, he fell down some stairs. It wasn't fun.
No, but I had a very
I didn't push him, Nadine. I swear.
I wasn't thinking it.
Okay.
I was going to say that I didn't, I may have felt something on my back, but that's a different story. No, but I had a concussion but mine was very mild. Like within a couple of days, I was feeling much, much better and everything like that. But your character is going through a severe form, obviously, like affecting her everyday life. And even with what I had, I was empathizing a lot more than I would believe. But I was like, wow, we don't realize how many people go through stuff silently.
Totally.
And have no support.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the case with all chronic pain. You know, it's one of those things that you just have to kind of suffer through, because you don't also want to explain every single day to every little interaction. It's like, this is what's going on inside my body right now. um yeah, I think Laurel, who wrote the short and who experienced the concussion and that recovery period, was trying to speak to this community of people going through chronic pain that don't often feel they're seen in media. So it was nice to have her perspective on that.
Definitely. Now, did you like really lean into her direction on the experiences? Were you going to her asking, how should I be feeling at this point? Like really getting the ins and outs of concussion?
Yeah, so she and her brother Brendan, who directed it, we had a meeting, and they sort of gave me the broad strokes of what they were trying to capture, because you know, this is a big concept that was distilled down into a short film, and they gave me the nuance and the details that needed to be there, and exactly how I was feeling. You know, the character drinks, so it's like, what does that feel like with the brain injury, and because our, you know, drinking already affects your head. And then I spent, this is so nerdy, and I promise you I'm not a method actor, but I did spend 2 days at home with a pair of like stiff jeans wrapped around my neck, just so I could just feel what it was like to not be able to have access to the turning and all that kind of stuff. Because like I take this for granted. You know?
Yeah, no, that's, you lose a lot of movement. Totally. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny you say that, because I remember breaking my pinky finger when I was in high school. Right.
Yeah, so definitely not me. Definitely not me this time.
No, that wasn't you. It was very innocuous. It was an inbound pass in basketball. It was very, like, not a big deal.
Yeah.
I broke my pinky finger, and it wasn't even I broke it. It was just like a chip.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, and like, it was so weird having this little tiny problem.
Yeah.
In which I discovered I don't know how to button up a shirt.
Totally.
Right? Because it's like, but who uses their pinky finger? Right? Like when you're zipping up something or putting a belt on, you don't, to your point, you don't realize how much you move your head, you move your neck, like even just the noises around, like when she gets into the car and it's like, drive slow. And it's like,
yeah.
And then her friends would be annoying even without the concussion.
Right.
To then have to deal with it with intense pain. That's supreme torture your character's going through.
Right. Well, that's the sort of like the B story of it all. Is like, you're realizing these people in your life, you have friends. It's like the for better or for worse, I think, happens with your friends too. And you have these people in your life that only when something happens and that friendship is tested do you get to see whether or not you really have close friends.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
We got an email in from Steve L that says, "Hey, Andrew and Mr. Green. Hey, does Nadine ever go to poetry pubs and clubs to read? If so, I would like to see her in person. Thanks, kids."
Oh, that's nice. I don't.
Poetry is more of a personal thing for you, right?
Yeah. So I, a couple years ago, it was just like one of those times in your life that we just like, everything is crap. Like I was going through a breakup and I was going through a few month period where my career felt stale and just like lots of things were happening all at the same time. And the only way I could deal with it was to write poetry. And I just thought I was writing for myself. And then one day I had 100 poems and I was like, I'm going to make a book. And I just self-published, and it was just for me. And I have tried reading it. I've gone to a couple events. I mean, I worked in theater for many, many years. And so I do love live performance, but it wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I like giving it to people and they can read it on their own time, but no, I don't. I'm sorry, I'll come, but yeah.
Do you find that it's because it is so personal, like it's so like just giving of yourself? Is that part of the hesitation?
I don't know. I think it's a little. It's like, I don't have a fear of public speaking. I know a lot of actors still do, because then it's like, it's it's them versus like a character. That's not with me. It's just sort of like there's like a cadence to spoken word and slam poetry and stuff that isn't like I love listening to it and I love like getting caught up in that as a consumer of art, but I'm not I don't know. I don't have the beat poet bug.
Mhm.
Right, right. Yeah, that's
Very
a very
specific.
specific bug to
Yeah.
have. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally. Oh my gosh. But of course you are an accomplished writer throughout. You put up on Twitter at the beginning of the year that I totally agree with. As a professional screenwriter, my favorite genre is to write. To write is nobody asked me to write this.
Yes.
And so like that's the thing. Yeah, like a lot of people don't realize that most of the time screenwriters are writing spec scripts that they want to get made that, you're trying to pitch to places, and those are the true passion projects, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's most of the job. And that is, I'm currently employed as a writer right now, and I still think that is most of the job. Um, yeah, it's like that is money. That is like, that is already like money because without, as we saw with the strike, not having material affects that starts the domino effect of production, and having stuff to give to somebody is currency. And so you constantly have to be writing.
Totally. Now you have one script that I know about that was September's script of the month for the WGC, the Sugar Shack. Is
Yeah.
that something you're actively pursuing, trying to get out there?
Yeah, so that's in the pitch stage. It's a great resource having the Writers Guild, who like a lot of people they have like a panel of writers that read the script and I guess vote based on other scripts that come in to determine script of the month. And then obviously the Writers Guild has relationships with production companies and networks and showrunners and stuff. I worked with the showrunner of a show called Fakes, which is Netflix and CBC. His name is David, and he went through my script and just helped me shape it. And so yeah, I'm in with my managers the active pitch process.
That's
All
got to
right.
be hard. It's the only word I can think of that's, frightening, maybe, terrifying, overwhelming. I'm thinking all of these things, but also exciting and
Yeah,
fun. Like it's a mixed bag, I would assume, right?
I think because I'm a performer, I really love it. I love having a captive audience. They have to listen to me. And I mean literally captive. I've chained them to the desk. But yeah, I find it fun. I think if you're passionate about the project that you've written, it's a joy to talk about it and to talk about the possibilities of it. And I'm in a writer's room right now, and I know that would be the next step if I were to develop it. And it's just so fun sitting around with a bunch of people that make you laugh, that you can make laugh, and coming up with different ways that characters can go, because you're really birthing people out of this idea that you've had, which I find so exciting.
Right. And the writer's room that you're in right now for whatever project you're a part of there, is it in like the birthing stage right now, or have you gotten to the point where you guys are actually working on the scripts?
I'm in a writer's room for a show that has had multiple seasons. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're just writing a new season. So like all the characters are fully formed, but it is fun to figure out new ways because they're all human beings. So where are they at now, and what kind of people have they become? That's so exciting.
Oh yeah, no, totally. That's the fun stuff. Of course, that's the thing I like about you though, is that you have your hand in many pots. You do the writing, you do the acting. Of course, you had for a few seasons you had a recurring role on Letterkenny, and
Yeah.
of course it wrapped up its final season. The final season just came out, and you, along with a lot of other people, got to come back for the last episode. What was it like to get asked back?
My heart swells about that show. Yeah, I was in Europe for a wedding, and then also my dad turned 60 and really wanted to go to Oktoberfest. So I get a call from one of the producers who I love dearly, and she was like, "You gotta come back early." And I ended up coming back just not terribly early, but a couple days early from my vacation because I was like had to be there.
Yeah.
It's been on for years and so distinctly Canadian while still being like for you go to the States and people love it. Like it's in the UK now and it travels well, and I don't know, it's just a show that makes people happy. So it coming to an end and being able to come back for that last little bit was so bittersweet because it has made so many people, ourselves included, so happy. But it's the end of an era.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's so weird though, because it feels like just yesterday we were covering season 1 and
right.
talking again. And then also like even more just yesterday, it's like I wake up and go, oh yeah, I used to do comedy and go to college with Trevor. It's so weird that now he's like, everybody knows him as Squirrely Dan,
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah. It was such a great show, and everybody, one of the things I love about that show is, like, to your point, like what you were saying is, but people love it, is how accessible it is, and it doesn't talk down to the types of people that are in a small town, and
Yes.
and try to make fun of them for anything other than the good parts of the quirkiness of each of their characters.
Absolutely. If anything, it kind of glorifies small town life.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's full of fast talkers, which
Which
is always good, which I know that you appreciate it because you yourself are a fast talker, right?
I am a fast talker. Hey, I grew up on Gilmore Girls, so it's like I'm chatting away. I honestly think it's like, I think because of shows like Gilmore Girls and there's some article that came out about words per page, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine was really high up there. Arrested Development was really high up there, and I grew up on comedy, so I can only assume that my brain was formed quickly watching all these comedies.
Oh my gosh. Well, and you yourself are on a comedy airing right now on CBC, One More Time. In a couple of the 2 episodes that have come out so far, there's quite a bit of fast talking in that as well.
Yeah. It that one's funny because it doesn't, like, I wouldn't call it like a fast talking show.
Right.
There's definitely moments that like sit in their awkwardness, kind of like The Office, like sort of like that. But it definitely has its hijinks.
Yeah, definitely. For people who haven't had a chance to check that out, what's that all about?
So it is a comedy created by and starring DJ Demers. He is a comedian, very popular comedian who is hard of hearing, and his character in the show is also hard of hearing. And it's, the trials and tribulations of working at a secondhand sporting goods store and the sort of like kooky motley crew who work around him. And I play a bartender who works, it's like in a strip mall, and I play a bartender who works in the bar right beside. And DJ has a crush on me.
Yeah. DJ definitely has a crush on Gwen. Totally.
Yeah.
Is there, like, as the series progresses, are we going to see a lot more of Gwen? Because right now I see that it's kind of, she's just kind of like the button on episodes right now. So
yeah, I'm sprinkled in until I'm like poured into the show, I would say.
okay.
Yeah, so stick with it if you're coming for me. It's gonna be for a few episodes, but yeah, I do show up a lot more in the coming episods.
I gotta say, Nadine, I really like the way you describe that as being, you're sprinkled in until they pour you in.
Yeah.
It's a good way to kind of like explain guest stars. It's
Totally, yeah.
yeah, you're there a little bit, right amount.
Oh, this is working. Okay. Yeah.
Now you get to say stuff. All right, there we go.
Totally. Yeah.
But I'm looking at your credits, and it's you're very similar to a lot of other Canadian actors that I've noticed. Is you've got the comedies, you've got some dramas, you've got like the Christmas movies, you've got the horror movies. You're hitting all of the like the bingo card for actors in Canada. Is there a genre you prefer to work in?
Yeah, I mean, I gravitate towards comedy. Comedy is drama sped up. And I do love just making people laugh. I honestly think the world is a tough place to be in on any given day. And there's something nice and comforting about turning on a comedy That being said, I went to theater school. I grew up doing plays and Shakespeare and all that kind of stuff. So tragedy and drama does sit very well in my body as well. And I love every opportunity I can, really grab onto to hit emotions and connect with my fellow actors and material. So I like comedy probably the best, but every other genre is like not far behind.
Nice.
Right. Well, there you go. One other thing I want to bring up before we end off this interview is another thing you wrote on Twitter on January 13th. Because again, it's something I very much agree with. Places that I like shouldn't be allowed to close or change. You live in Toronto. I live in Toronto. There's so many cool places that disappear, especially since the pandemic, that just disappear overnight. And I'm like, no, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. I'm like a die-hard Torontonian, but it's so hard to be that right now because all the things that I would have taken that I did take for granted for like my entire upbringing are gone. Honest Ed's. I'm currently working like a few doors down from where Much Music used to be. Yeah, like just the things, Sam the Record Man, the things that made, and certain bars and restaurants, like my favorite bar in the whole world, which was Betty's. And it was just like a divey bar.
I didn't even know Betty's closed. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I used to do stand up there. This hurts. Okay.
Yeah, King in Ontario, Betty's. And it's where I had my first drink in a bar. And it's gone. It was so sad. And everything is just a condo. It's just because it's
It's just all a condo.
Yeah,
Yeah. And again, also nothing against the social, but I just get angry anytime I see it on because I'm like, you're where Much Music used to be.
Yeah.
This is wrong. They've blacked out the windows. You used to be able to see in.
right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know, not the social fault, but yes, I understand. Every time I walk by the truck coming out of the building with the wheels spinning, I'm just like, if they get rid of this, I'm moving.
Right. I don't live in Toronto. I live outside of Toronto, and every time I come in, for events and stuff like that, and I'm walking around, and I'm like, I'm like you guys, I'm not down there all the time, so it's like for me, it's like, oh, it's a huge change, right? Because I'm like, I remember the Diesel Playhouse, for example, right, that got ripped down about 10 years ago and turned into a condo, right? And Wayne Gretzky's across the street, condo.
No, I I can't with the condo. Look, people need places to live, but I not to go on a rant, but we need more mixed housing. We need more family units and like that. The single family homes and condos are sort of destroying the city. Sorry.
Yeah, and also they've caused Second City in Toronto to move how many times?
Yeah.
It's usually always a condo that takes their spot.
The one thing about Second City moving a little bit though was people rediscovered or had discovered for the first time that section of the Danforth.
Oh right, yeah, when it was over on the Danforth, yeah.
On the far east, which I think is underrated. I mean, I've grown up all over the city, and I spent a lot of time that far east, and I just think everyone's like, it's so far, but what makes Toronto great is that we are as vast as we can be, and people need to explore all the different ends.
Definitely.
Yeah,
all the nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
It always amazes me about how like people from Toronto, like in the core, think even going like 3 blocks east or 3 blocks west of the core is like another zip code, right? Like it's just like it's so far. The other thing I really like about this conversation is that I think, Nadine, you have really solidified a truism around Toronto, and it's not crime, it's not organized crime or anything like that. The true villain of this city is condos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's it. We got to fight big condo.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I've been walking to work. I live in Riverdale, and I'll walk to Queen West, and along the way it's like all these buildings, and it's like that sign that you recognize, like a new thing is proposed for blah blah blah, and it's like that little orange, it's like all gray except for that little orange building.
I loathe the orange. Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, this too, and it's just condos looking at weed stores.
Pretty much, yeah. Weed stores are definitely on the rise as well. Yeah.
I think that says something also about the city.
I don't know. This weed stores like in the multitudes have kind of popped up all over Ontario.
No, 100% they have. And I'm just saying, like, a general is, general observation of the world these days is that I think the popularity, not only because, hey, it's legal, but two, people need to like find a way to deal with
disassociate for a moment.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and safely, like,
Yeah.
definitely better than some of the other things that are out there in the
To
world.
get over the condo craze.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just looking out the window, condos.
Or to get over chronic pain. So there we go.
Yes.
Bringing
Yes.
it back to
There we
chronic,
go.
which of course is coming to YouTube, I believe this month. So people just do we have a date yet on exactly when it's
I don't know if there's an exact date, but I do know that it's February 2024. Chronic can be available on YouTube.
There we
Nice.
go. So definitely look for it then. Nadine, I want to thank you for coming on the program. As I said at the beginning, really enjoy your work. I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff you've done. Usually when you pop up and stuff, I get a good laugh. And I appreciate that very much. That's what I appreciate about you.
I appreciate that about you too, Andrew. It's so nice to, you guys interview the best. This sounds like I'm a compliment on myself, but you do the best interviews with people, and it's just so nice to come on board and have a chat.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
We try our best. So looking forward to people checking out Chronic, and have yourself a great night, Nadine.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Bye, Nadine.
Bye.